Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and I'm still playing 1849. We're in phase 6, but obviously all the 6 trains are gone. Phase 7 will therefore be triggered soon. And that means that the 4 trains will go away. So especially this guy will be in a lot of trouble. He will be probably able either to buy a new train, but because there's quite some shares in there, so he can bring more money in here, or that doesn't work out, he may still merge with his other company. Clearly in the lead is this guy at the moment. He has the most money in hand. We're talking here about, not sure, something like 1800 bucks, I guess. And he holds 50% of the most valuable, but also the most powerful company. There is, okay, I mean, these are 500 bucks, okay, so the pink ones. So we see something like, I'm not sure, 2,000, or was it even more? 1, 2, yeah, there's more than 3,000 bucks in here. When the 5 trains go away, he will be able to buy himself 2 8 trains right away, and there is still enough money then to pay for terrain cost and stuff like that. His only problems is that the dots are not perfectly placed. I mean, they are, or basically that they are not enough. So he has 5 dots. They are placed in good spaces except for that one. He would love to remove this one and place it somewhere else. And hey, maybe he can, you know, it is allowed in this game to do these kind of things. So maybe he finds actually a way to remove this dot. It could be very helpful, for example, to one of these companies here, the green one or the yellow one. For them it would be interesting, because then they could do this east, the run from the east to Rome. But on the other hand, Adriatic coast to Rome is also a pretty solid run. You can take a lot of cities here, so it might not be necessary. So we are at the beginning of a new stock round now, and basically we have 2 positions here. A few people are desperately hoping to get money into their companies because they need a train. We have here, he is actually not in the worst shape. There is already about 700 bucks in there. There are 2 more shares if someone buys the shares. But that is the question. If someone buys the shares, he can get 1,000 bucks in there, and then he only has to spend another 100 to get himself a 7 train. But if that doesn't work out, he's going to spend a lot of money to get himself an 8 train. So one thing he's not interested in is that new companies will start. If they start higher, which is very likely, they will be able to buy away the 7 train, and he might have the time to run that 5 train once more and maybe then swallow, and then it could be enough anyway. But maybe it is possible. There is this poor guy here, and he is probably in the most trouble. There is not a lot of money in the company, only 350. There are a lot of shares in the company, 4. So if he sells, he can buy himself 2 shares. and they are worth at the moment 160. So let's say 300 bucks go in the company from him. And the question is now, is anyone else willing to buy shares? Well, I can see some deals coming up. For example, that he says, hey, I'm willing to buy the 2 shares of yours if you buy 2 shares of mine, right? So we can bring money in each other's companies. Or here, we have here a similar situation, only that this guy is a little better because there is already more money in there and he can merge. We have here still 50% in the company, and he can only buy, well, he can at least buy 3 more. So he might be fine. But yeah, basically he is really the guy who has the most trouble. Especially because the company is also not terribly attractive. At the moment, it can only run a route from Milan down here. So there is not, the runs are the worst out there. We're talking 320 bucks. That is not terribly great. Even if he buys himself a better train, he won't be able to make much better runs because probably someone will block Milan and it won't be him. And then he can go from Milan down here to the port. I mean, technically you could try to move to go here to Marseille at some point, but it's not going to be that awesome as some other companies will be, at least pretty soon, if the 7 and 8 trains come out. So nobody's really interested in buying this stuff. Okay, so these are the desperate guys, right? And then we have 2. I mean, this guy is basically out of the game. He holds now 300 bucks and 2 shares, but hey, whatever. There is not a lot he can do. On the other hand, we have this player here. He has a company with a permanent train, and this player here who has also, and both of them have a lot of money. He has much more than he does. He has actually, and both people are interested to start a new company, simply because that would give him the option to buy the 2 8 trains for his company. And in addition, he simply has so much money in hand that he has to do something with it. If it just sits there, it doesn't really help him. And he is exactly in the same position. On the other hand, I find it kind of unlikely that they will work together. I mean, they could work together to start a new company because nobody quite has the money to he could maybe get there if he sells 1 or 2 shares. At the moment we need, if we start a company at 340, so that it will operate before all the others. Then we need 1100 for a 7 train. And then depending where we want to start it, and I'm tending to start it in Milano. I mean, there is a free space there. So if you want to start something, this is the place to go, I guess. But if you want to start it there, you need at least 400 bucks for your 2 mandatory dots. So that means we need 1500 bucks to start a new company. And that means we're going to have to buy basically 5 shares for 1700, or we buy 4 shares for 1360 if we don't have the 1700, and then later pay 140 out of our own pocket. that would work as well. It's a little painful, but it's not that terrible. Okay, so overall we need $1,400. No, that's not true. $1,500. That's what we need, and that's what we definitely have in here. So he can do it. He can start a new company. He has the money to do it on his own. But priority lies here. So he's going to be last. Which means if someone else starts another company, that company will operate first, and that company will also have the option to buy trains first. And then he's going to need a lot more money if he wants to start a new company, because then he's going to have to buy an 8 train. And the difference there is $350. Now technically, if you start a company at 340 and you can sell all shares in there, you can buy both of these trains. You will be able to afford them actually easily. But you might as well say, hey, maybe I prefer to get an 8 train. I don't know. There are a lot of decisions to make then. The point is now that this guy over here, he does not have the money to get a company started. We got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he could buy himself 3 more shares. And then he still has a lot of money left in there. So I came up with an idea, and this guy here, he is in a position that he is kind of interested to merge his company with someone else's company. But not desperately interested, okay? But it would be definitely a good thing for him. So he was asking around, hey, is someone interested to do that? And I can see this guy saying, you know, why not? We're sitting down here together, so we can do it. I can offer you a 6 train, a permanent train, and you have a lot of money in your company, especially if we buy these 2 shares, which we then I can buy them, for example. Then there'll be what did I say, about $1,000 in the company. That's a lot of money. And so if we merge, you don't have to hold back in buying shares, being afraid that you will have to pay from your own cash parts of the new train. But we can both then invest in a new company that we might start together. So we merge, and this guy would get the presidency in a merger because this is the more valuable company. It's close, but it is. Just a few bucks, I think $5 or $4, but it is. Question is, will it still be after? It's 152, 162. Well, when they both sold out at the end of the stock round, this one will be more valuable. However, yeah, no, that's a fact actually. This one will be at 152, this one at 162. So that means he's going to be the president of the merging company then. So maybe they can come to an agreement here that he says, okay, I will keep the presidency of the new merging company, but I will give you the presidency of the newly launched company. And then both companies might even consider somehow transferring money, buying trains from each other. There will be a lot of overall money if we play this together. So overall, I think this is definitely in both players' interest. But still, I will roll a die here, and on a 1 to 5, this is going to happen. On a 6, there is a lot of mistrust there, and maybe it won't. We'll see. That's a shame. Okay, so I think we will not see this maneuver happening. Let's see if there is another way out. And if this guy somehow manages to start his own company. But first, this guy has now priority, and he will buy the most valuable, or the shares with the best run at the moment, which is the Sabauda. I mean, it's not the shares with the best run, but it's the one with that are available that do the best run. So that will cost us $177. So this really kind of sucks that they cannot come to an agreement here, because for him it would be definitely not a bad thing, and the problem is, if he starts a new company, if he wants to start a new company, to get $1,500, he's going to need to sell. Well, he holds about, oh boy, well, he could sell. The problem is, he doesn't want to sell that one. He doesn't want to sell these. These are okay. They are not terribly valuable. For this one, he could get 145, so 250 basically he could get if he sells these shares. That means he would then be at, let me see, 1,013.50. Oh no, 1,400. That's not enough. Shit. That would be 1,400 then. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm gonna give him another shot. Maybe on a 1 to 4 they will go with this merger. Otherwise it's just... Okay, these guys are incredibly stubborn. So it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. For some reason they seem to be pissed at each other. So that means this guy who goes first, maybe he can find another partner or something. Maybe there is a way. But on the other hand, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Oh boy. I mean, yeah, he can offer him, okay, I buy shares of your company if you buy shares of mine. And this is the kind of deals we're seeing now, I guess. So I think that's what I'm going to do at that point. It sucks. It sucks for all the people, but sometimes these things happen in games, and there is, I don't know, mistrust. There are people simply might not really like each other in a gaming group. I don't know. And I mean, in a way, I don't know. Okay, so that means I'm gonna get a share of this shitty thing here, hoping that the other guy helps me financing my own company. Okay, so now it's him. And yeah, he's also now a little bit out of options, but he doesn't trust this guy. So therefore, he's got to come up with his own plans. He holds $1,200 in here. He can still buy 3 shares or 3 certificates. That's not good enough to start a new company. 1,020 sucks. So he has to sell at least 1 certificate. So he could buy 4 certificates of the new company. 1,360. That's a start. But can he get the money? I mean, if he sells one of these, which would be really painful, and he doesn't want to do that, he would get $180. If he sells one of his own certificates, and actually in a way that might be a good idea. Because they don't make quite the money as some other companies will, right? I mean, I think it's maybe the best idea if he sells one of his own certificates. And especially it's not so bad because the share price won't drop because it is already at the bottom. So I think I will do that. Yeah. So that gives me $141. 25. Okay, there we go. And now, at least I have the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, actually, yeah, I can now buy 4 shares. So, and I have a little bit of money in hand. So I think I want to start a company, and I want to start that in Milan. So this guy managed to raise $1,360, but he had to sell another share, the one of the ILTF. How clever is that? I don't know. I think the merger with this guy would have been a much, much better and more elegant idea. But if for some reason they cannot come to an agreement, there is nothing you can do here. Okay, so he wants to start that thing in Milan, and that means he has to spend $400 on tokens. You're going to place the 2 tokens, one here in Milan and another one here in Como. Okay. The cool thing is that will allow him this really strong run from Torino, this way here over Milan, and then this way here to the Gotthard. This is a massive run, I don't know, 500 to 600, something like this, with a 7 train. So that is really, really strong. Problem is, he will only hold about 30% of the company. So, boy, I don't know. That was such a weird maneuver. But that's the thing, you know, if I play this solitaire, sometimes I gotta do things that I actually don't like to do. Well, actually he holds 40%, okay? You know, because there are so many cool and awesome maneuvers. But on the other hand, if I play always my way, the way I want it to do, I think that then the games often will turn out very similar, and we would see a lot of very similar patterns and so on. So for this reason, I roll the dice. Most of the time, it goes in the direction I want it to go, because I will do it with some odd modifications, but in this way, and this time it simply didn't. Okay, so the point is now that we have only, let me see, oh boy, we got 960 in there. That means if he doesn't sell any more shares, and I have my doubts that someone else can actually afford 340, then it means, I mean, we don't know. He has to pay 140 out of his pocket. Problem is, he doesn't have it. He only has, oh boy, he only has 100. Oh, fuck, it comes down to just $10 or something. But he doesn't have it. So that means he might actually have to sell, well, maybe not. I mean, he could issue, or he could sell one of the shares of the company, right? That would be always possible for half price. And then, yeah, doing this emergency raising, and then he's fine. So this is always an option you have, especially if your shares are as valuable as these are. But the share value would, of course, drop significantly. But yeah, I think it's worth doing it anyway. And by the way, just, whatever, it's not that important. I made a pretty big mistake in one of the first videos where I didn't drop the share value when there was this emergency money raising going on. But hey, whatever, it's definitely too late now to correct this. A viewers pointed that out, but yeah. By the way, it's the Compagnia Ferroviaria Conte di Cavour, also called the Cavour. So now it's this guy, and he will also start a new company. He's in a better shape, he has more money, so he can easily do it. He actually even has 1,700 in there, so yeah, no problem for him at all. However, he is pissed because now this great spot here that he was planning on starting a company on, that spot is gone simply because the priority order, this guy was before him. So yeah, he was hoping for this one, but he can't do it anymore. So in a way, this whole area isn't that attractive anymore. The way to Marseille via Torino is blocked, and at the moment there is no other way. The way to the Gotthard is now blocked too. Milan is blocked. So I think it might actually not be the best idea to start a company there. What about starting a company in the East? We could, for example, exchange tokens with the other guy for $1 or so, and then we would have access to the East. That would be an option. We could go here to the Adriatic coast and somehow run a train here between the East and the Adriatic coast. Maybe we can also go to Roma. What happens, for example, if we start a company right here? That would be in Lucca. That seems like an interesting space. We have access to Roma with its $200 run. And it is possible that these guys will dot us out. There are still quite some dots in there. So, but yeah. I mean, it's kind of tricky. Not sure how to handle this. If we could also place 2 dots at the beginning. So let's assume we place a dot in Lucca and maybe another one here in Bologna. Even if the green guy dots us out here, we could still upgrade the city and then go here. It will take us 2 turns to do that, which kind of sucks. But it's definitely an option. The other possibility here is to go north and upgrade, but this, okay, I mean, the other guy could help me here. We could do it like this, and we could do that also in 2 turns. And we might maybe get a little bit more out of it, although this gives us 150, this 120. I don't know if it's worth the effort. We would get these 50, but this is only worth 10 mestre. But on the other hand, if we go through here, we would also get 10. Yeah, it's not that easy. But on the other hand, where do we want to start otherwise? That's the big question here. I mean, an interesting idea would be to say I place a dot in Lucca and another one in Bologna, and then I work together with the Regia, and we're trying to make our way here. This will take us only 2 turns, but then I'm going to have also access to Milano. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shit, I only have a 7 train. I cannot quite get there. That sucks. But maybe I could... Yeah, it's tricky. If I go this way, I might be able to skip Cremona. Bah, boy. I mean, I could upgrade this one, and then I could skip this city, which is a shame because it gives us 50 additional bucks. A lot of difficult choices to make here. There's no doubt about that. I mean, what we could do is, of course, we could buy, for example, an 8 train of this company and give this company a 7 train, and then, because I'm not sure they can, well, I mean, they might be able to run their 8 trains yeah, they can probably make more with their 8 trains than I can do. For some reason, it still seems to me like this is the most reasonable thing to do. Place a dot here, place a dot in Bologna, and then try to somehow make a connection between Milan and Rome. there is the most money. No doubt about that. Going to the north, to Trento, for example, that it will take me too long. And I'm also not sure if I can do that with a 7 train. Probably not. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do that run, which feels like kind of a waste. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this option anyway. I don't see another reasonable choice here. Maybe here. What about this? Let me think this through. Okay, I see an interesting alternative here. If I start a company in Brescia, and this one, I'm not sure what it is. I don't want to remove it now. I can make a good run right at the beginning if I bust through here. I can go from Trento to Milan. And that would be fine, you know, that's a solid run. We're talking here something like nearly $400. Just like that. That's pretty cool. And then on the long run, and I can work together with these guys, placing tiles and so on. On the long run, I might actually be able to cut through here, from here, because that's where I wanted to place my second token, to go like this, bust through here, and go to Lausanne. That would be a pretty impressive move. But problem is, and that is always the problem in this situation now, if I place 2 dots, I probably cannot afford more dots than these 2. If I bust through the mountains here, and maybe then one time even through there, first of all, that would cost me a lot of money, and other people might simply be blocking then the passes. And I mean, this one isn't too easy to block because I can upgrade this, but that one definitely is. And that kind of sucks. It really does. And it might even be possible that we have the yellow company and the pink company. They are both operating, well, that's not quite true actually. Well, no, it's this one here. The Novarese and the Alta Italia. They are both operating also in this area. And they both have a dot left. So it is possible that I'm doing all the investments, and then the others can dot me out, which obviously sucks. So I'm really not sure what I actually want to do here. Okay, so I'm going to roll a die again. On a 1 to 4, I'm going to go with the Luca Bologna option. Otherwise, I'm going to go with the Brescia option. Okay, we're going to start Luca Bologna. And we're going to start it as high as possible, 340. And I'm going to invest 40%. So that means I have to buy 3 shares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can exactly do that. There's a certificate limit of 11. So I got to spend 1360. Okay, what are my plans here with the Garibaldi? And this is the Compagnia Garibaldi per I trasporti ferroviari. So my basic idea was to place a token here and here. Fine. With the option to maybe exchange a token with the Regia, which is also my company. And then I could make a run here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would need an 8 train to do that, but I might consider upgrading this and then making a connection like this, so that I can simply do this run just like that, and then a 7 train would be good enough for me. The problem is that people can dot me out here, because I'm competing basically with 3 other companies. The Green Company, the Latina, which has 2 tokens, the Sabauda, which has a token left, and the Livornese. I'm the leading player, so there are good odds that people will try to make my life as hard as possible. So I was thinking, if I want to make this run, and I think this is my goal, this is a very strong run with a 7 train. If I want to make this run, I have to make sure that they cannot dot me out. Well, we're going to see probably a dot here, but that doesn't matter, you know, because in the end I want to go this way anyway, okay? I find it unlikely, to be honest, that they will go here. But they could, of course. But there would still be a way around this too, although it's not a great thing to do. But it could be possible, but that will take time. But as I said, I can work together with the other guys. So I could even do that, you know. I could run like this, which kind of sucks. Anyway, my idea is that I need a lot of tokens. Buying these 2 tokens is not going to be enough. So because of the pass, even if I upgrade the pass, these guys have 2 tokens and others also have tokens. So even if I upgrade the pass, I'll end up in trouble. I mean, I could go like this, bust through here, and then I can still do it. Maybe I actually should. Maybe I shouldn't be afraid too much. My other idea was to start in Modena, because if I start in Modena, the tokens will only cost me half the money. And I think that's what I want to do, because I will go before the others. If I invest heavily, I might be able to buy myself 5 tokens. But then again, I cannot place both of these tokens at the same time. So I don't know, maybe I should just leave it like this. And if they really dot me out here, I can still bust through here and hope for the best. I think that looks like a good idea to me. Okay, actually I purchased myself a 3rd token, so I spent $600 for tokens. That is pretty insane, but I think it might be worth it. And I do have the money, and if things go wrong and out of control, I can still start kind of fiddling between the jiggling, yeah, jiggling trains between the two, or I might be also able to buy a share of that company, by the way, with these guys. So I think I'm gonna find ways to bring money into the company. It shouldn't be too hard. And I still have some money here. I probably will sell another share. So the company will then sit there with, let me see, if I spend another, I think it will actually have exactly 1100 then if I buy myself another share of the company. Let's sell this shit here for 131. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I gotta do that, not so much. I should have sold off obviously before I buy, but in this case I'm gonna do it before someone else sells. And it's not only because I need the money, it's because I need the option to buy another certificate, and I'm already at the limit. So this company is now in a pretty good shape. They have now $1,300, and well, actually he just bought a share, and he can actually buy another share of the company, and so then he's going to be in a really good shape here. But it's really an interesting aspect in this game that companies can start basically anywhere, because they had this kind of gentleman's agreement. Everybody thought, okay, we don't place a dot here, so we can run through this, both of us, and we're good. And now some asshole just dotted him out, and this important space is simply blocked. And yeah, he thought about making a run like this or something, and then maybe over here. That's not going to work out anymore. That really sucks. So he's going to have to buy himself now, I think probably an 8 train. And all he can do is, this is just stupid. I mean, he might even try now he's sitting here, that's basically his starting position. And he now can actually think about 1, 2, 3. We cannot quite make it, but he might consider making a connection to Milan and then go from the Adriatic coast there somehow. If he upgrades this, he might be able to hook up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, maybe he can even take this one. We're going to see about that. But it will definitely take him a while. And these are the kind of surprises you can see with this completely with these corporations which are allowed to start freely with the non-historical ones. Now we see some kind of strange maneuvers here. This guy, for example, because they promised each other to help each other out by buying each other's shares. But he's now in a situation that he holds 2 shares. So he actually, that's a big deal, right? I mean, technically, and that's a nasty situation. Technically, this guy could now actually simply sell 30% of the company and dump it on him. That would be really ugly, because they made that deal, I buy your stuff. Basically, he should have sold one of the shares, but then he would not have been allowed to buy another one. Oh boy. He didn't think that through. The question is, would he do it? I mean, he could. He really could do that. it's not a good company at all, and there's not a lot of money in there. But then for the future, you know, I mean, I gotta be honest, I really have my doubts that I would dare to do this in my gaming group. You know, that you make an agreement to help each other out and then fuck you up so harsh. That's really, you know, things can become personal at that point. So I think I'm gonna make a roll here. Actually, I did this kind of personality thing, right? The loyalty thing and how true they will be to their agreements. And player 5 is one of the guys who isn't terribly true. On a scale from 2 to 12, he ended up with a 4. So that's not a lot. But still, that move would be really horrible. On the other hand, it would save his ass. I mean, otherwise, he's close to bankruptcy. Not really, you know. There is now some money in there. He also holds a lot of money in hand. But he somehow has to raise $1,400 because these two guys will get the 7 trains, and then he needs an 8 train. And it sucks, you know. He doesn't need that 8 train at all. So let's see how much money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there are $700 in there. He holds another 500. That's 12. Okay, he has basically exactly the money he needs to get himself an 8 train. And there's still a little bit of shares in there. So, and yeah, he's gonna buy that. So he could do it. It would not bring him into bankruptcy. However, dumping that company on him would be, from his perspective, an amazing move because it's such a bad one. And wow, that's just tempting. I'm gonna do it on a. It's horribly nasty, but I'm gonna do it on a 1 to 4. And I'm not. I'm gonna be a nice guy here. So I say, okay, buddy. I'm gonna buy another share of your company. I'm gonna stay true to our agreement. And whoops. And we're friends here. And this guy just realized what a terrible mistake he had made. And he was just so relieved that the other guy helped him out here. Okay, still, this guy clearly cannot take the risk. I mean, he just realizes, oh boy, that can really go in the wrong direction. He thought about dumping the company himself, so he will actually, and I'm not sure. Wait a minute, I think I paid way too much for that. Somewhere I made a mistake there. Okay, I definitely want to be on the safe side, so I'm gonna sell one of these things for $114. Yeah. This kind of play is just far too risky. Actually, I can't do it. I can only do it in the next round. Damn. First you gotta buy, then you gotta sell. So, yeah, of course. Okay, so now it's this guy's turn, and yeah, now he has the option to dump the company on him, obviously. I don't think he's gonna do it, especially after this guy stayed true to their agreement. On a 6, I'm gonna give him another roll. So let's see. No, he will not dump the company, but he will definitely sell at least a single share just to make sure that he is protected. Okay, so this guy purchased one of these super expensive new shares of the Cavour here for 340. He still holds $600, but he has to keep them. He has to hold on to them because we only have about $900 in there, and that means he will have to spend over $500 to buy that A train, and there is no way around that. There just isn't. So yeah, that sucks. It definitely sucks. And because the thing is, you know, in other games, you can still, if you do this money raising thing, this the emergency money raising, you can still sell your shares for the market value. So you might as well say, okay, I can invest and see where this ends up. In this case, in this game, it's not possible. You will lose half the market value of the shares out there. So he cannot afford to do that. Therefore, he will hold on to these $600. Okay, so these two guys, they really helped just each other out. They bought each other's shares, but now at the after doing so, they actually decided to sell them again, not just because they want to avoid that the other company will get dumped on them, but also because the companies are not good. I mean, this one is as I said, a 4 train would have been completely enough, and that's all they can do. The green company wasn't doing bad. They actually had a good perspective, but now they are dotted out here brutally, and they are split in half. They're really not doing well. They have a few dots left. Maybe they can somehow start something like a run from the Adriatic to Trento or something like this, but this is not looking good at all for these guys at the moment. This is going to be... They have no one. They are alone. There is no other company that might help them here. Doesn't look good for these guys at all. This guy is now also at his share limit. And he's got a he's got a strong portfolio. Not as good as the other two, I guess. But he isn't doing bad at all. Problem is, these shares are simply not worth a lot. They are sitting at 93. They make great runs, no doubt, but the share value sucks. He might consider maybe in the next sometimes during the next operating rounds, we're probably going to see a merger between the two companies. There is enough money here, so it would not be necessary to do it. There is enough money there to buy a train, but that will reduce. I think he can. Yeah, these will rise in value drastically, and he can then buy additional shares. Although it's hard to tell. I think they're going to be a merger because he needs room for additional investments here. Okay, so this guy holds priority. We're at the end of the stock round. He doesn't have any more money basically, and I think he needs. Well, maybe actually he does. He holds another $100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He could buy actually another share. Problem is, what's out there? What about this one? That seems like a good share of the Sabauda. do I want to hold priority for the price of having one share less than possible? Otherwise he would have priority. Is there a reason? Well, maybe I might consider dumping the Livornese on him. If I have priority, I can do that. Is it worth it? Hard to tell. Probably not. But having the option is kind of interesting. So maybe I will actually pass. Question is, does he see that problem? And I'm going to roll a die here. I mean, he's at the point where he doesn't care at all. So on a 1 to 4, or let's say on a 1 to 3, he's going to sell that thing. On a 1 to 4. Yep. So he will actually sell that thing because he doesn't want to. You can go bankrupt more than once, by the way, but he doesn't want to risk that. So he sells it, gets 141 bucks. Question is there some way for investment here? And that's indeed a problem. There is nothing really valuable out there for that little money. I think the only one he can actually grab is this one here, the Alta Italia, 441 too. So yeah, that's probably what we see. Priority now ended up with this guy here. And yeah, he wants to hold on to his money because he's gonna have to buy a train. This guy is at his share limit. This guy also needs a lot of money. He needs 700 bucks to buy a train for the company here. Now that is really painful. But that's what's going to happen here. This guy, I mean, now he can buy himself actually one more share. Yeah, why not? I think he sold this, so he cannot buy that in this turn, but he might actually buy one of these. Can he? Nope, he doesn't quite have it. Doesn't have the money to do it. Okay, so basically this guy is out of money, this guy is out of money, and that means we come to the next operating round. We enter the first operating round, and first player is the Cavour, and he doesn't want to upgrade things, but what he basically has to do, he's going to buy a train, and he's going to buy the first 7 train. Yeah, exactly. It's a shame. He now had the money to buy himself an 8 train, but yeah, he probably needs the 7 train at that point. He could buy the 6 train from the other company here, from the Livornese. Problem is that the Livornese doesn't really need a better train than a 6 train. They're kind of stuck in here. They're going to make this Adriatic to Roma run, which is a good one, but anything else is not terribly useful to them. So therefore it simply seems maybe later in the game, I mean, they might still have the option to buy themselves a second train then. But right now it seems they simply got to take a 7 train. So that's 1,100 bucks. They grab themselves the train. And they might also consider buying shares, but for now we have a new phase with the beginning of phase 7 train. Okay, the 4 trains are eliminated from the game. So that means the Sabauda and the Alta Italia now have to buy a train. They both, I mean, the Sabauda might have the money, they do, but the Alta Italia doesn't. So that means problems for this player over there. The Garibaldi upgraded this tile here, and they purchased a train, also 7 train, and they can see things happening, like, for example, people trying to dot them out. So what they got to do is, basically, they got to prepare to bust through the mountains here. That's going to cost money. The Garibaldi doesn't have any money left here. And now we can do a pretty unique thing, but we can't do it now, to be honest. Shit. No, we can't. That's tricky. We need somehow... That's really a problem. We're going to need money in here. I know how to get the money in there. I'm going to buy a share of the Garibaldi with this company. I'm pretty sure I can afford that, and then I'll be fine. Yeah. My first thought was to kind of fiddle around with the tokens here, but to buy these tokens from the other guys and then rebuy the other one, but I need at least $1 to do it. So at the moment the only way to get money into the company is by buying shares from here, if I don't want to start selling trains. But that is a bad idea, because then I probably will not be able to run the train. Okay. The yellow company is in a bad position here, because now all these places are cut off. I mean, so they cannot no longer... How did they do it anyway? I think that one was not dotted either. So I think they kind of managed to go like this, from here somehow like this. Now this is not going to be possible. So basically the only run they can do is from here like this. To do that, they would only need a 4 train. So their idea is now to say, okay, I can try to go from Milan to the Adriatic coast. That is possible because I got a dot here. So if I only need the connection here, which is easy to get. And then I got to... Because I would need an 8 train or a 9 train to get there, which is not existed. But I can, if I manage to get past this thing here, I can do it. So I think for now, maybe I should start upgrading this one. But then I can try to, with the other 2, I can also use the other company, the Novarese, and then work with both companies together and exchange these and make a connection here, and then it would be possible to go from Milan. Would it? Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would work out. So that's kind of cool. Let me see that we find a fitting piece here. Basically we need a straight. Yeah, I think this one works out well. Then we got to buy ourselves an 8 train. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. No, actually it's 1450. There we go. And that then starts the next phase right away. And let's see what we got. Oh boy. Okay, 5 trains are eliminated. Okay, and now the market value tokens can advance into this blue area. And that's pretty much it. Okay, the Livornese now does exactly what we could have expected. They're going to try to dot this out. They have 2 tokens left, and they don't have any reason to hold back. So they're going to try to block the Garibaldi. So the Alta Italia. And as I said, they are in trouble. They got to buy themselves an 8 train. They don't have that amount of money. But the thing is now the Alta Italia wants to pay the $50 to bust through here and then in a one later turn go to Marseille. The reason why they want to do it, I mean in the end this guy will have to pay an additional $50. But if he doesn't do it now, he won't have the money to do it later, because this company will have to, during the emergency money raising step, they're going to have to sell their share, and then they can buy themselves a train, but they're going to sit there without any way of income, of getting income. So if they want to do this, they got to do it now. And I think on the long run, it's going to be worth it. This guy can't pay the additional bucks. I think it will hurt him. He might even have to sell a share because of that. But yeah, as I said, oh god, don't tell me we don't have a fitting piece here. I think it has to be. Yeah, it has to be a. Ah, wait a minute. Okay, it has to be a dot. And we don't have a straight dot anymore, but we can use this one, luckily. And then we have to upgrade it, and then we got to go there. Okay, it will take some time, but I think in the end, I don't know. I mean, the other option would be to go like this, right? That's also a way, and it might go quicker. So yeah, the guy didn't even have to sell any shares. There were 800 and something in the company after, I think 890 or something after selling the stuff. So that means he had to pay 500 and something. And yeah, I mean, it's painful as hell, but at least he didn't have to sell shares. He still has a bit of money in hand, so yeah, okay. So the green player actually placed a token here. First he has to lay track, by the way, but still, he wants to place a token here because he wanted to avoid that the red player can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7. That would be a pretty good run, not going to the east, but to the Adriatic coast, but taking these $50 from Venice. So therefore, he places a token here, but first I can do a track lay. And yeah. And I think I'm also trying to get this thing here to get here a straight, because then I can do this run to the Adriatic coast. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I can't. Fuck. 1, 2. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly. That's what I want to do. Okay. So let's see. Do we need this? Yes, we do. That's the one. We want to avoid Brescia. The problem is we got to take these crappy cities here. But hey, if we work together, we can upgrade them at least. There are not many brown tiles left. Only one actually. No, actually two. So yeah, maybe if we upgrade them, I think we can make money here. There is, yeah, that should be absolutely possible. And this player now has to buy himself a train. He has here 932 bucks. That means he needs, oh gosh, a lot of money. Something like 500 something, 500 whatever, close to 600. He does have that. I'm gonna calculate it. I'm a little tired right now. And then yeah, he can buy himself an 8 train. By the way, if all the 8 trains should be sold out, it is no longer mandatory for companies to have any trains at all. Share value drops here, and we already get into the second operating round. Okay, here a stupid mistake happened. This guy forgot to buy shares from this company, so that means they're still without any money. So they cannot upgrade the pass because that would cost them 50 bucks. So the best they could do now is make a connection here and then try to go. They cannot get quite to Milan, so they can only get here. So with their 7 train, it's going to be a really weak run here. The Cavour made a 55 run. But this is going to be 100, oh boy, 150, 210, 260. That was a big waste, but I hope next time this guy will remember. It isn't as easy to remember because he's basically going next, but I managed to forget that. Then they're going to have the money to upgrade the pass, and then they get the 240 in addition, and or not quite in addition, they got to leave something here, but they're going to go this way then, and they will then also be able to exchange tokens with the other companies, so they can go to Venice or through Venice to the east, and then they have a really good run. But they simply managed to screw this up now. That did cost this guy some money. And honestly, I would get a little nervous right now because this guy, for example, has much more cash in hand than him. And he won't make a lot of money this turn because these guys cannot run. And also this guy has a ton of cash. The problem of him is that these shares are garbage. And therefore he doesn't have a good portfolio, but this guy does actually have a good portfolio. It's not quite as good as the other ones, but it isn't bad at all. And maybe there is a chance for him to even go first, but it's hard to tell at the moment. I think once he gets his 2-8 trains, things might change. I forgot, of course, I can make easy money in the company if I run the shares. If I run the train, there's still shares in the initial offer. So now, from now on, there will be money in there. I'm gonna have an income, but still waste of one run basically. So after the run, now we finally see something that we haven't seen yet, because now the company has actually the option to exchange tokens with this company. They can buy basically the right to drive through here. So they're going to pay the company, for example, $5. It has to be at least $1, that's all. And then they simply exchange the tokens here. There we go. And now this company gets back its token. And now the company has the option to go through Venice and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's what we want to do. To do that, we got to upgrade a pass here and hope that the other guys don't dot me out. Otherwise, we would have to go through here, which would cost me, of course, additional time. But I could 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck! I cannot quite get there. I cannot go from Milan to the east with a 7 train. That's not going to work out. Okay. The thing, we didn't manage to have a run of 306, 306. So the share value won't rise. Another disadvantage for this player here. This might be in the end a close run. And now it's him, and I wonder where I can lay track now. I mean, I could straighten this thing, and maybe in this way I help myself and maybe other people, but I think that's okay. Gives me more flexibility. That makes sense. I don't know. So this company here, the Regia, is considering this big project. They are thinking about moving toward Lyon. Now they have a token left, so if they go here, nobody really can dot them out. And they also try to go here toward Trento, so they have this insane run here and then like this. That would be super powerful, obviously. If they can get there, it's not quite clear, but there's not a lot else to do at the moment. So they actually bought themselves the 2 8 trains for $2,900, but they cannot pay out, so the share value will actually drop this turn. Okay, so this guy is considering the following. He has here a yellow token and a gray token. So that means he could place, for example, these 2 tokens here in Venice. They would not terribly help him, but it would really piss off the other guys. The green company would be cut off, and the red company also would be cut in 2. So that would be pretty much a disaster. And I really have a feeling like I might want to do that. The thing is, though, if these guys then work together, they can simply make this a straight. Oh, but there is none left. Okay, so this isn't too easy. There is not no tile left that fits here, so they have to upgrade another one first. That will take time. But then they could upgrade this, and they could place a dot here, or maybe even, well, they only have one left. So they cannot easily dot me out here. That is kind of fun. The player of the red company is pissed, of course, and he says, you know, if you do that, I'm going to dot you out here in Marseille. But on the other hand, he says, well, you know, I could upgrade that, I thought. But now I got to reconsider. There's no money in there. Upgrading this, although it's only 50 bucks, won't work that way. Oh, shit. So is it worth all that? Probably not. Okay, I think I don't want to get problems with Marseille down here. I don't want to waste this token just to fuck up the other people. I could hurt a few guys pretty hard, but yeah, this guy can take revenge. Cut off Marseille, which would be 150 bucks, and that is definitely painful. And this kind of, you know, this deal did go on now for a long time, so I think I don't wanna go away from that. Instead, I simply upgraded this thing here, and maybe if we all work together, we can make this a pretty profitable route. And yeah, I'm gonna run my 8 train from Milan via whatever that is to the Adriatic coast. Okay, actually I think I want to place a token in Firenze, because I'm afraid that this guy will cut me off there. He could do it with this one here, and then one of the other guys might place a token there. And no, it's not Firenze. It's, damn, what is that? Padova. Yeah, that's a pretty important space here, and I think I don't want to lose that. So just to be sure, I will place a dot here. I'm not going to use my second dot. I don't want to piss the other guy off too much, but one dot is okay, I think. At least, you know, it didn't go against our agreement, and it's not a completely hostile act against the other player, because it still leaves him technically room to go through there. Of course, now that gives this player the opportunity to cut him off, but okay. And by the way, I made 530 bucks, which is a solid run. Alta Italia, they laid track like this, made a connection here, and then placed a dot there. And now the way to the eastern part of the map is open for them with an 8 train. They could now go to Bologna via Padova, and that is even overall. Wait a minute, I might even start here and then go like this. And maybe in the next turn I could do it like this, actually. That would be a solid run. It would be even better than using this track down here. This is kind of weird, but it makes sense. And if I go like this, that gives me then, that's going to be 200, 240, that's another 60 then. So that's 300, 400, 420. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's 420. It's not a great run for an 8 train, but it's something. It's at least something. And we see a surprise. Nobody really had that in mind. The green guys here well, first of all, they're going to upgrade, I guess, this one here. Do they really? Yeah, why not? I think they will. I'm going to upgrade this one. Let's grab one of these. No, that's a T. I gotta take one of these. Okay, there we go. Just like that. And now they have a dot, and that is their last dot, and they're gonna place it right here. Wow. And that fucks up some people, because now the way to the east is blocked. These guys are really pissed now. They were thinking about going to Trento. That's not gonna work out. They gotta have to find a way. There might be a time to go through here and then make a connection here, but yeah, a lot of people are not happy about this. We've also seen runs going like this and then through here just to make additional money, you know. This is not going to be possible anymore. So at that point, this guy managed to piss off some of the other people here. And also, it is not going to be so easy for these major companies here in the West to help their other companies. You know, many players had one company here and another one here. That's not going to be possible anymore right now. Yeah, this guy, the Latina, can now make this nice Milano Adriatic coast run, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. Okay, finally the Garibaldi also managed to get a good run here from Rome with a 7 train. 1, 2, 3. They upgraded this path here. 4, 5, 6, 7 to the east, and that gives them 470 bucks. Okay, the Regia, I think they're not going to try to go here for now. They got to deal with this problem that they cannot move east. And here, the Garibaldi can help them. So that won't probably take for too long. So if I place, wait a minute, which one do I need? Shit. Yeah, exactly. If I take this one here, fuck, that's exactly the, no, it's true. If I take this one, I'm gonna be able to move at least like this. I still have a dot, so you know what? I think I'm actually gonna place my dot here now, because in this case, the Novarese, who also has a dot left, they cannot dot me out, and now this is all blocked for the Novarese, which sucks for them. And there is no way for them to go left anymore. This is all closed. This one here, this is all closed. Yeah, they are now really stuck in this area. And that is pretty painful for them, because they can also not go to the Gotthard. So their 6 train cannot really run that far. So, Eventually, the Reja managed to make a run over 1,000. It's 1,020, and that must not be the end at all. If they had not been blocked here, they could have gone quite a bit further. Their second A train only could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stops. So yeah, there's definitely more possible here. Okay, so the Sabauda is cut off Milan, and not the Sabauda, oh yes, yeah, of course, the yellow line. And the thing is that they were actually considering a merger with these guys, because he is at his share limit. He has a ton of money sitting there. I don't know, nearly $2,000. So he definitely wants to make additional investments. So instead of busting through here and making a way to Trento and then doing a cool run here, they actually decided to try to make a connection here so that they can then merge with the Novarese. See now a merger of the Novarese with the Sabauda, which means basically that the last historical company, the only company that has seen the start, will now also disappear. We managed to re-establish a connection between Milan and the eastern areas now. So that means that merger is possible. This is really a very strong company now. It basically goes from Torino, it covers basically all the map. Torino, Milan, Padova, up to Firenze. All the map here is covered by this new white company here. The Campania Trasporti Subalpini, and they have not too much money, just about $20. That's not too great, but they hold a share, and they have one share left in the initial offering. I think that this share might remain, but I'm not sure. First we got to exchange the shares that are out there, and then we're going to see how that works out. It's interesting, quite some players only held, or shareholders only held 10% of one of the companies. So they couldn't exchange shares. This guy could, the president, he also has one left. This guy had two, so he ended up with one. This guy has one left. This guy had two, so he ended up with one. Here in the company is one left. And here is also one left. I'm not sure that everyone who might be willing to get one actually will get one, because there are only 3 shares left. I'm also pretty sure that the share here goes away, because the money that the people now have to pay for getting a share goes into the company's treasury. So, and I'm pretty sure that this guy definitely will pay to get one of these, and so will he. Although, maybe not. Maybe he prefers to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a tough call. I'm going to think this through. The problem is a lot of share value will be lost here. We have 196 and 114. So that is 310. Is that true? Yeah. But the maximum value after a merger allowed will be 250. So the company actually starts now. I thought it was there somewhere. 290, 56. Do they start? Shit. Do they start here then? I thought I've seen a 250 somewhere. Well, maybe I was wrong there. So that means they got to start here, and that means that quite a bit of share value is lost. But the thing is, if he doesn't do that, he will end up with nearly 2,000, more than 2,000 bucks in his hand, and he will not be able to invest into new shares. The game will go on for 2 more operating rounds. It's not a lot because, you know, when this guy enters this one, then the game ends. But still, in these 2 operating rounds, if you can hold, I don't know, 5 additional certificates or so, even only for 2 operating rounds, that can be a lot of money, especially if you manage to get one of these high value certificates. And because this guy is second in priority order, and there are still, I think, 9 of these priority high value certificates out there, he will get at least 2 of them. Yeah, he will get, well, a maximum, but he will get 2 of them. And I think this alone is worth it, especially if he buys one of these, which he also will have the opportunity to do, because this is going to be the one which will get the last run and basically an additional run. The payout will be not bad at all. And so, and the share value will also rise massively from 377 to 516. That is definitely that definitely will compensate for the loss that he makes now because of the merger. So, yeah. Again, this guy is the loser because there is no share left for him. Because all the others were willing to pay 124 bucks. And by the way, I managed to find the 248 space here, but not the 250. So everybody else was willing to pay the 124 bucks. Also the company here, by the way. And because it goes in player order and also the company is controlled by the players, can also then go when it's their player's turn. That meant that this guy is sitting on a share which he cannot exchange. He gets money for it, but only half the value of the newly formed company. And the share was worth, I think, about 169 because it was one of the Sabauda shares. And now he only gets 124. Bad luck for him here. So we're at the end of the stock round, of the operating round, the end of this cycle. And I'm going to load this up. Going to have very few time left. So hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye.